Okay, good evening, guys. First of all, welcome all of you to this 3 day long web dev carnival by NoobCode. It's a boot camp about web development where today you will be learning about the front end. Tomorrow it will be about the back end, and next day will be the most exciting, that is Sunday, that will be on cyber security and on deployment and hosting of the hands-on website that you will make. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Sharmik Datto. I am the lead and the founder at NoobCode. If some of you are the first time knowing about NoobCode, just let me brief you a little bit about it. NoobCode is a community which helps a newbie, that is, we call everyone a noob coder over here, and I am also a noob coder, the number one noob coder. So it's a community which helps a newbie to become a pro. We provide you with curated resources about various domains. We host interactive sessions like this one, and we conduct challenges to ignite the developer spirit in you. For today's event and this entire bootcamp, I'd like to thank Microsoft Lunch Student Ambassador Swapnendu Banerjee for allowing us to use the MLSA Teams platform for hosting this event and collaborating with us. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to our today's speaker, that is Soumyaraj Bag. He is the tech lead at NoobCode. He has done MERN stack development and is a MERN stack developer. He has also been a React Native developer as well and have some apps which he have made. And currently he is a full stack developer intern at Web3 Scope. And he is a guy like probably those who have joined, maximum of you will be from first year if I am not wrong. And he is a second year BTech CEC student at RCC IIT. So just probably 1 year and you will probably have the same chance just like him to take a session and guide everyone, your juniors or even seniors if they are there. And you will be able to see that how much he has adapted his skills. I hope through this session you can easily understand that. Now, let us start with the first day of the carnival, that is the Frontend Fiesta. Without further ado, I am handing my mic to now Soumyaraj to start this informative session.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes,
Okay, thanks Sharmik for this much introduction, and thanks NoobCode for organizing this session. And first of all, hello everyone. A very good evening to everyone, those who have joined. And if any of your friends have not joined yet, please call them because this is going to be something unique. So let's get started. So we are gonna talk about web development today, right? So we are gonna start everything from scratch because many of you are newbie here, right? We are especially dedicating this session to those who are extremely unknown to this field, even unknown to development. Also, some of you are in the midway journey. We also have something for them also. So we are catering everyone. So this session is going to fit for everyone. So you have to be patient till the end because I have many things to show here, and it is going to be something unique you will see among every sessions you have attended or you will be attending in future on front end. So let's get started. So what is web development? Many of you think that coding and making websites, hey, yeah, you can say that in one line, that is quite right. But if I say in components, right, that web development is all about front end development. Front end is what you see on the screen, your computer screen, desktop or mobile phone or iPad or any digital device. And what is backend? Backend development is the server development from where you connect the database, and also you connect the front end, and you also process the logics and also process those datas. And what is UI UX? Without UI means user interface, UX means user experience. Without these two, you cannot make a front end, and also you cannot render those data on the DOM. We will be discussing everything, don't worry. And after that, web security. In the website, a security is a key factor. So you have to maintain the security system in the website. So it is also under web development. And then comes the main thing, deployment and web hosting. Without any hosting, you cannot see the website, right? So after that, there comes the DevOps. What is DevOps? The optimization of your code and optimization of your product actually. So if I have made a website, I have to optimize it and scalable it into the production level. That is where with DevOps is it. And there are many more subdomains, but this is all the popular ones. So let's get going. So yeah, if anybody asks me about what I would choose between front end and back end, I would say weekend, right? Many of you would say right. So after that, so क्यों करना है भाई, क्यों करना है वेब डेवलपमेंट? वाई? क्योंकि सैलरी बहुत अच्छा मिलता है, बिकॉज वी गेट द हाइस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटीज, बिकॉज there are many jobs in the web development domain. If you seek internships, if you seek jobs in the industry, if you see well-found Kuwait or Indeed or any kind of internship websites, or you can see any freelancing websites, Upworks or Fiverr, you will see lots of web development jobs or internships or also freelancers. So as per these statistics, you can see a front-end developer can earn this much, 5,90,000 a year in his beginning level, and that can be up to 10 plus LPA also. And after that, full stack developers can earn more like 15 to 20 LPA in their beginning also in a good company. And if you start from a startup, you will be learning things, but you will be getting 12 plus LPA, and that can be scalable up to 50 plus LPA. So you cannot think what can be done from this web development domain. पैसा तो सबको चाहिए होता है ना, लेकिन वेब डेवलपमेंट आसान भी है और पैसा भी देता है. So that's the main thing. So after this, if I go, why web development? I think I don't need to say what is the dialogue in this scene. We all know पैसा ही पैसा होगा. तो actually यही है. Well, jokes apart, web development क्यों करना है अगर मैं बताऊँ? So we have emotions. Let me give you an analogy. We have emotions in our body, right? But how we express them? We express them from our face, right? We have the face from where our eyes speak, our mouth expressions, our nose expressions, everything show that emotion, right? So for that particular thing, if you develop a AIML or Web3 application or any kind of application, you have to have a face, and for that you will be needing one website or one application. But between these two, web development is easier. So making a website is easier. So web development can be your first development domain. And in my opinion, every developer should know web development, because when he or she will be making something on AIML or Web3, he or she will be needing something user interface, and that can be easily implemented using any website, right? So web development is must for any developer. So let's go. So before going to any technology or coding part, I want to discuss about something, how it works, how the web architecture works. Let me explain with the first diagram here. So this is the front end. As you can see, this is the mobile phone or computer. You can see this is the deployed link from where you access the website, and that generally what it does, you request something like I am searching in the Google that Lamborghini car, something, and that is what I am requesting to the backend and the database to fetch some images of the Lamborghini, and that's a request, right? And the web server then what it does generally query the database and finds all the images that can be fetched from it, and it processes it in the backend, and then it generates a response and sends it to the front end. That's how it works. So after that, the front end, the data comes, and the data is displayed on your screen. What you are seeing is the front end. So front end does the request and server gives the response. So that's it, request, response. So here if we go on a detail, that a client means what I am seeing right now in the website, I am the client, and after that I request web server that I need this, bring me this. After that, web server is trying to go there in the am I audible guys? Hello, Shaknik?
Yes,
Uh,
you are. You are
okay,
audible. You
okay,
are audible.
okay. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so with that, I'm a client. I'm requesting something to the web server, and then web server locates the page file what I am seeking, and then that generates a HTML. What is HTML, Dada? You would ask me. I would definitely tell you. Just go with me. So that generated HTML comes to the front end, and then that browser processes that HTML and displays the whole web page. That is the total scenario. I think you got it. If you have any kind of questions, you can ask me in the chat box. I would definitely give you the answers. Okay. So I would like to talk about client side versus server side. What is client side? Client side is what you see. I have repeated many times, I think, but uh, client side is all about the interface you are seeing on your screen, and that generally must not have to have connection with the server, and that runs on our user's computer. That is totally data dependent, and it generally does not give any load on the server's processing unit, and that is generally made using the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we will study about them deeply in further slides. And what is server side? Server side is equal to backend. If I talk about backend, that can also be, that is synonym, is also be called server side. So it requires the interaction with the server. It runs on the web server, because without web servers and web sockets there is nothing called website. So it always processes data and everything that loads on the server and sends it in the front end, and that's how all the brain. If you call a human body, then the back end or the server side is its brain. So that's what is the server side actually is, and that server side can be implemented or made using Python, Java, PHP, or PHP is nowadays a world standard language, but now it is trending JavaScript. JavaScript is trending right now, and also you can use Python, Java, ASP.NET, and etc. There are many languages, Ruby is on Rails, etc. So I forgot to mention it, that here is a link. There is an article detailed on client side versus server side. After this session I will be sending this PPT. You guys can obviously see this article, and you will get lots of more knowledge than what I said right now. So after this, if I go to the main thing, that basic fundamentals of web development. Without these three you cannot do anything, whatever you learn. So this is the main tripod. You can call them Trimurti, you can call them Herapheri trio, you can call them anything, but you should know this. So what is this? HTML5, CSS3 and JavaScript. So for full form of HTML5 is hypertext markup language. Remember, this is not a programming language. You have to always remember, you will be also asked in the interviews that HTML is a programming language, right? If you say yes, then you are nothing but a donkey, because HTML is a markup language. It is used to build the overall skeleton. If you see any structure of a website that is without any styling, ugly, if you see any kind of element, everything is coded in HTML. And if you want to make it beautify, or if you want to make it stylize, everything would be made using CSS. So okay, so yes, Golang is also good choice. Yeah, right. Okay, I'm coming in the backend would be discussed tomorrow. So today we are discussing front end. Okay, so after this CSS3 is totally used to stylize every component of the HTML we have made, and also it is used to make responsive. Like if a website opens in a way in the desktop or laptop, you see that is totally opened in the phone or tablet in a different way. So that is called responsiveness, that is called differentness. So after that, if I talk about a programming language now, that is JavaScript. HTML and CSS were not a programming language, I repeat guys, but JavaScript is a programming language which you would definitely love it if you really love web development. I think you will definitely. So JavaScript is used to make functional. If I tap on a button on a website, if my form gets submitted, also if I tap on a button and it shows me something, some image, that are called actions, right? Those actions are performed by this JavaScript. This JavaScript generally codes it and adds functionality to this website, and it is a communication language between the front end and back end and also database, and it is all, I can say JavaScript is full stack language. So that's it. Let's go further. So what hypertext markup language, I repeat that HTML is not a programming language. It how its syntax shows, it generally has curly braces types of syntax, greater than, smaller than, and I will definitely show you guys how its syntaxes look. And there are some advanced features like heading, paragraphs, divisions, etc. Without that, there are lists, you can make forms, you can make tables, you can make marquees, you can make also semantic elements like divs or also spam, everything. So I have embedded one tutorial here, tutorial link, you can definitely check out, and also the documentation of MDN and also the cheat sheet. After you learn from the tutorial, you should read the documentation, and after you read the documentation while developing things, you should always check out this cheat sheet. So that's it. I'm gonna show you guys how the HTML code actually looks when after this CSS part. So let's come to the CSS part. So there are many features in the CSS. I cannot talk, I can talk everything about CSS, but that would contain 2 to 3 sessions. But let's make it a brief. That see how do you actually write CSS. That suppose in HTML I have a P tag, so I write that P, that is called selector. I am selecting it. So after that, like C or in JavaScript, you put curly braces, and then you have to give a property like color. I want to make that paragraph color to red. I give that paragraph color to value red. That's how I declare. That is like a common English, you see. And after that, there is text effects, styling, you can change the font sizes, you can animate them, you can make thicker stylized writings and everything. And you can also adjust the dimensions and also responsiveness. As I said earlier, that you can code differently for different devices, so that the website does not get torn apart. So after that, you can also stylize the links, and there are different types of layers, like you can display them differently. Like if you want to keep a box sticky here, you can stylize them also. After that, you can make gradient colors like this if you want. That how is the gradient color looks. This is a gradient color, you can see this beautiful thing you can make from CSS. And there are lots of units, M, Rem, VH, VW, PX, everything you can see. And there is a tutorial, there is a documentation, and there's a cheat sheet. You can definitely check it out, and I'm gonna show you guys now how the HTML CSS code now looks. So I think guys you can see my screen. Let me see. Okay.
Yes, it
Okay.
can be seen.
Okay. I think it's open. So in CodePen I am showing you guys. Okay. So this is a HTML code. As you can see, HTML tag, head tag, meta tag, that is totally using tags, right? It is called markup language. So it is not a programming language. You are using markups to code it. And after that, body tag. Under the body tag, I am using header tag. So as you can see, welcome to my web page. You can see that this is a header section. After that, under another section, H2 means another heading, second heading. So After that, about me, and paragraph means this is a simple website created using HTML CSS. What I have written here, that is totally printed here. And if I say footer, inside the footer, you can see that I have used something special symbols to generate these symbols. You will learn it definitely. So these are the total markup language syntaxes. And if I talk about the stylization part, that is font family, Arial, sans serif. That is the font family. You can also adjust to the body part. So here you can see this is the body tag, and that is a selector body, and under that I have mentioned the CSS properties like font family, margin, padding. Now if you ask me about that, what is padding, what is margin, I would definitely say about that. Just hold on. And if I go out there, there is footer, there is background color, there is color, everything. That's how you write CSS. Isn't that obvious that this is like an old English, this is like a English, right? So that's it. So can you please spam in the chat section that you guys are understanding, right? Is it okay? Spam with okay.
Soumyaraj, there's a doubt that can you please say about units in CSS?
Yes, definitely. So where was my PPT? Yeah. So units, EM, REM, I have mentioned many. So if you go in the Google search, if I say EM unit in CSS, so it is totally saying me the relative to the font size of the element. So if I give a font size, suppose to a paragraph element, right? Here I have mentioned like a paragraph element font size I give 16 pixels something. So the relative to that means if I 16 pixel equal to 1 EM. So that's how you shorten the unit. That's what we used to do in like relative density, relative gas density in our science subjects. That's how the units work. And if you talk about REM, that is also relative to font size of the root element. What is the root element? Body tag. Here body tag is the root element because he is the father of all the elements. And if I give any font size to the body tag, and that body tag's font size would be reference to the element it is mentioning on the font size on the unit REM. And if I talk about PX, pixel, right? If you have any doubt, just search it in the Google. Okay, that's how you learn, that's how you explore. So 1 pixel is formally defined as 1 by 96th of an inch. So you can understand how small it can be. Even my screen is also consisting of thousands of pixels. So that's it. So pixel is a unit. You can also search VH. VH means viewport's height. Whatever it's your viewport height, it is totally counted in 100. So if I call 1 VH, then it means 1% of the viewport's height. And if I talk about 1%, 1 VW, it means 1% of the viewport's width. So that's how the units, I think you can figure it out from here. So I'm going further. So after that, if anybody says that HTML as a programming language in their resume, so I think you guys know about him. He ended up dying. So that's what is gonna be with him or her. So that's it. So let's go further. So let's talk about another topic on box model in CSS, which is most important because whatever we are seeing here is totally made on the box model architecture. So what is the architecture? Suppose in the gigs for gigs box, you can see this box, you can assume your home. Okay, and this is the let me do the full screen. I think it is visible. Okay, so as you can see, this is the you can assume this gigs for gigs box as your home, right? And this is your garden, right? So and this is the wall area of your house, right? So this is the wall area and your home. The midway gap is called padding. So inside space is called padding and outside space of the border is called margin. So that's what we call margin and padding, and the border is called border width. So border, outside of the border is called margin, inside of the border is called padding. So that's it. And if we call the what is the height? Height is the distance between two borders, and same goes for the width. Okay, so this is the conception view. If we talk about the web browser inspect view, if I go on the web browser views, then this is the main element, and this is the padding area, and this is the border, this much. You can assume this totally a 794 pixel cross 160. How much would be 794? This area, the width, and the height would be 160. The padding here vertically is 50 pixel, and then the border is 5 pixel, and outside of the border is 50 pixel. That's how the box model works. I think while you will be coding, you will be learning things obviously by your own from YouTube. I have embedded those links. You should definitely check those after I end this session, and you would be learning when you would be needing these concepts, and you would not get these concepts clearly in the internet or anywhere easily, and many feel problem to understand this. You have to read articles and everything. So I am keeping this all concepts here. So after that, let's go another concept in CSS that is important, that is his flexbox. So flexbox is what? Suppose I have 4 boxes, right? I have to align it in a same direction in horizontally. So if I give that box class name dot box, that is a selector. Okay, in HTML tags you can give an HTML tag a name. That is how you can use
Soumyaraj, there is a doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
He's asking that can you please explain box sizing?
Box sizing, border box. Okay, if you have any kind of doubt in CSS, what you should do? You should do Google search. W3 Schools is the best website ever. So here you can see the actual definition of what is the width of an element, height of an element. After that, if you go below, you can see that what is the box sizing property. There are 2 things. Border box is the first property. So here you can see the definition. If you set box sizing colon border box on an element, padding and border are included in the width and height. So you are including the padding and border width including in the elements width and height. And if you do if you scroll down, there is a box sizing property. If you want to implement it, you can see that this is a content box. Content box, what does it mean? It does mean that you are using the width and height of the element without using the padding and border. So there are 2 properties, content box and border box. So that is the box sizing property. I hope you got it. I have many things to say, so I think you will figure it out. So after that, what is flexbox? I was saying, I think Swapnendu, it's clear to him. Okay. Yeah, Hazim, have you any doubt? You can ask in the chat box. I would definitely reply. Okay. So after that, flexbox is the main thing. Flexbox, you can see that I can let me go to the full screen first. So you can see that I can align them in the horizontal direction, also in the vertical direction, just by saying flex direction row. It will be aligned in the horizontal direction. And if I want to give it a vertical direction, I can say column. And if I want to give it a reverse direction, column reverse, row reverse. So that's how it is easy, guys. How it is easy. If you just search flexbox in CSS in Google, you will get the full documentation. And W3 Schools is the best site for beginners. And if you go mature state, then you can obviously go to the MDN docs for CSS. So here you would be getting everything. I have also embedded this CSS link in the PPT, so you would be definitely checking it out. So after that, let me go. So after that, there are more properties like align content. You can align them like flex start. If you have right flex start, all the items would be aligned in the start, flex end at the end, center at the center, stretch. It means it would take the whole area, space between. It would make spaces between every row or every column. Or if we give space around, it would give the border areas, border and its elements between area spaces. So that's how the orientation looks. And if you give justify content, it would justify its the axis of the contents as accordingly. If you give start, it would be on the start, end, it would be on the end, and if you give center, it would be on the center. If you give space between, in the between of the boxes, you would get spaces, and if you give space around, there you would be getting the around spaces, and if you give space evenly, you would get evenly spaces. Like if I have here 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 1 pixel. So that's all. You can have all the values. I have given you an orientation also with the property values. That's all. Isn't like that English language. So that is how it is, guys. You can definitely get started. So grid layout. After that, if I have too many boxes, then we would not be using flexbox. We would be using grid layout. But for that, we have to have some concepts. That for grid layout, if I say you need HTML classes. So for an HTML, right, you would be need to give it a name or identifier, right? You can give it an HTML tag like a div tag, a class name that is city, and that city can be accessed through here. Suppose dot city. So that's how it is accessed. Dot grid container, it means HTML tag has a class name which is grid container, and under that the CSS is display grid. It is showing as display. It's all child elements or boxes, and its column gap is every box gap is 50 pixel. So that's what it means. It is too much easy, guys, and you have to have a semicolon between every property. And this is a align content property. Here if you write start, the contents would be aligned on start, center, end, space between, space around, and stretch. It would take the whole space. And if you give justify content, it would take the axis of the, it would be working on the axis of the elements. That is, it would be on the start, or be at the center, or be at the end, space between, space around, and that's all the similar things, right? You can see that I have made things differently to make you more understanding this topic. So because flexbox and grid are the most useful things of the CSS, so I think you got it. So after this, and if I say you something that CSS needs a very crucial time in your web development journey, because styling is everything. Whoever does not want to see a beautiful website, and for that beauty you have to have a very good CSS skills. So you have to spend as much as time possible with CSS. Do not rush it. If it takes time, give it a time. It would be your loyal girlfriend for your life. I promise, guys, or loyal boyfriend. Treat it like a loyal boyfriend or loyal girlfriend, but give it a chance. So after that, there are animations also. If you want to animate these cards, you can see, I have given, suppose that every box is a div element and it has the element class name, and I can access that from the selector, and I can give it a height, and I can give it a width, and after that margin, background color I have given red, and after that the animation classes have started, animation properties, that I have given an animation name stretch. There are more animations. You can search. How you can search? I am gonna show you animations in CSS. You would get W3 schools, you would get MDN docs, you would get, you are seeing, right, animation name. If you want to go there, you can go under that. Animation name example, you can study about them, you can definitely study. There are more. If you get confused in the W3 schools, you can go here. If you click on animation composition, there are these values, you can read about them. But you have to be patient, because CSS is like concentration training, right? A meditation. What does it call? Meditation. So you have to give it a time, otherwise you would not be learning anything. So animation direction, you can also give alternate. It means one card will be here, one card would be there. Iteration count, it means it would be repeatedly working. Animation fill mode, none. Animation play state, running. So you can give many properties. You have just to study. Even if I say, guys, I don't even know the full animation CSS, I'm still learning. So you can never learn the CSS totally, but you will be learning eventually by your journey. You can never be a master at CSS, but you can be proficient in CSS. That if you get any challenge, you will be searching in the web, you would be facing, you would be thinking, you would be making logic building, and everything you will be figuring out. And for that, you have to have time with CSS, you have to spend time, you have to know him or her. So that's how it works. So after learning HTML5 and CSS3, what to do? You would say, I have known HTML and CSS, so I'm a front-end developer. That's a joke. That's the biggest joke. So after learning things, you have to make projects as much as possible. I can give you basic project ideas that you can give a tribute page. Like if you have seen the Loki season 2, you can give a tribute to Loki. If you have seen a biopic, right? If you love that person, you can make a page on that person. You can code that in HTML and CSS. You can find lots of that in the internet. If you are a fan of pop culture like BTS or Marvel or DC or The Boys, you can make those articles or photos, cover it in your HTML CSS page. You can make and stylize those components. You can make your portfolio page. Eventually we will be making a portfolio page in Sunday session, so stay tuned for that. And you can also make parallax website. So you would ask me that what is parallax website? I have embedded these links here, guys. You just need to check it. You would get everything. And you can make music store or food page where you would be showing music plays and also foods and everything. So if I click on anything like parallax, so you can see that YouTube link has popped up and you can learn from here. And I have also embedded many things, as you can see. So after that, there are responsible website responsive, what does it mean?
Hi guys.
So this is a video. You can see, you can definitely, if at first you would be confused that how would I know that how to make a project, right? So you have to see these videos, you have to parallelly see them and copy them. It does not make them that select it, Control C, Control V. No, you have to see what they are teaching, what that line actually is changing. You have seen that justify content, space between is giving spaces in between the box. Okay, I am writing this, I am implementing this, so I am getting those things. So that's how you learn things, right? I have also learned things. At first, when we were child, we used to think about theories in maths, but we could not implement. At first, our teacher made us capable to do sums in our own. So that's how in the YouTube you can find videos and you can see them and copy them first, and by the time you will be gradually making your own projects. So I make my own projects now. So that's the maturity you would be developing by time, by seeing these videos. So there are many things you can see, and you would, after you see open these videos, there will be more suggestions. You have to make it a bookmark or like. So that's how it. So imagine a world where all sites are responsive. I wish I can show you guys a non-responsive site. I have one in my mind, but I would not like to show that. So there are many sites that are not opening properly in phone, so make it a responsive website. Always work on responsiveness, because that pays you well in the industries. So after that, Namaskar JavaScript, because JavaScript is the main thing, the most hardcore programming language. Why I am saying that hardcore? Because that is the you will be realizing eventually. So first of all, I would be giving you guys a brief that there is a tutorial. If you click on it, you would be seeing that I have embedded the Code with Harry JavaScript playlist. This is the best JavaScript playlist in the YouTube for any beginner. If you even do not know any programming language, you can also learn that. And you would be, if you click, you would be seeing that there is the MTN JavaScript documentation. This is the best JavaScript documentation, because if you go here, you can see that there is the code already, just you have to run it and see the output. That's how you would be running, and that's how you believe that the code is working. That's how it is easy. So that's one documentation you should definitely check. After each lesson you complete in the tutorial, you should see its documentation, because that's how we used to study when we were in the school. So let's talk about the data types. So what are the data types in JavaScript? That string we know. If you are coming from Python or C background, you know about the preliminary data types, but there are some changes in the JavaScript we would be talking about. That is, for to remember things, SS, NN, BB, OU. What is S? String, symbol, number, null, boolean, begin, object, undefined. So as you can see, I have given many examples. That is a string. After that, this is a number. What is an object? If you are coming from Python background, you have seen dictionary, key and value collections. So that is totally called in the object in JavaScript, but do not call them equal, because the programmers would be very much angry for that. So after that, in Python you have to not give any specifier before any variable name, but you have to give it here like var. Var for global variables, let for block sequence like between the second brackets, and const means you cannot change its value after it's getting declared. So that's how. And here you can declare an array also, and you can also declare something with null if you want to give it any if you do not want to give any type to that data type, you can give null. You can also give undefined, because you do not know those things. So that is the extra USP of the JavaScript. That is main thing. So after, if I go, so I am giving you a comparison between C language loops and also JavaScript loops. As if you are coming from C background, you can see this is inside the main function. This is the for loop syntax, right? There is the initialization variable, this is the condition, and this is the increment operation. So in this JavaScript, you can see same goes, the initialization variable, the condition, and the increment operator. And here it is called printf, and in JavaScript it is called console.log, because console is an object which has a function log which generally prints the data. So that's what it is. You will be knowing more things when you will be learning JavaScript. And if I compare while loop and do while loop in C, how this is while loop works, you can see there is the condition. And JavaScript also there is the same thing you can see. And do while loop in JavaScript also you can see same. The condition is here and the condition is here. So as if you are coming from C background, it is quite easy for you to learn JavaScript. Even from Python background, because if you see if-else statements in Python, you can see that in the indentation thing. But in JavaScript and C, there is no indentation issue. So you can write those from here also, but in Python, you have to have some indentation. So in JavaScript, you can see you are using curly braces, and also in C or C++, but in Python, that's the difference. And that's all 90% similar. So after that, you can see that in between Python and JavaScript there are two similarities, that try, catch, finally. What does it do? In try, that we try to execute that code. If it gets succeeded, then it would execute this code under the try block, and it would return the function. And if it does not get executed, we go inside the catch function in JavaScript, or in except function in except block, sorry, function, not function, block, inside Python, and it executes, or it gives finally for both the cases. It's like a conclusion, so it is easy. So after that, till here we saw nothing हटके, क्या अलग है भाई, क्या बात कर रहे हो JavaScript में, what is different. So here comes the twist, that JavaScript gives you the first implementation of asynchronous nature of any programming language. What is asynchronous nature? If you ask me, that from childhood, if you have used any programming language, you have seen that the programming languages are executed code. The executed code is definitely being executed line by line, from one line to 10 to 20 sequentially. But what is asynchronous? That is, here you can see in the graph, number one takes 20 seconds, number 2 but in asynchronous nature, all the lines getting executed differently if the lines are stated as asynchronous. So if it takes 20 seconds, from the 0th second, the second line was also being executed, but it ended in 7 seconds. The first line ended in 20 seconds. So it reduces the execution time also, and it performs double tasks or many tasks at the time. So what asynchronous JavaScript offers? Web APIs. APIs generally work on the asynchronous nature, because if what is APIs, we will be learning in the backend session. For now, you can assume it as the collection of data. You are appending some data in that collection, and you are deleting something, so that would take some asynchronous nature, right? And there are async await in JavaScript, callbacks. What is callback? If you reach home, give me a callback. What does it mean? If you complete that task, give me a signal that you have completed that task. So that is what in JavaScript callback does mean, that for any specific execution, you give me a signal. And there are task queue, promises. What does promises mean? A specific operation, it has two possibilities: success, failure. And event loop, if you run any event in a loop for any particular condition, that's it. So if I go, there is callback. You can see this is a function, there you are running callback, call me here. So if I particularly execute this function, then the call me function would be executed. So that's it. Promise is, what does it mean? Promise is that it is a particular task, that it is getting some data from this link, and in response dot then means it is a success. Then success, that is if the response is returning, give me the response, or if it is a dot catch means it's an error. If it catches an error, give me the error. So that's how the promise works. That promise is a pending work that has two possibilities. If it gets fulfilled, then it goes some asynchronous actions, and if it gets rejected, then it goes some error handling. And if that keeps being pending, then it also stays as a promise, unresolved promise, and then it can also have two possibilities, that fulfill and reject. That's how it works. So after that, you would be saying that I know this 2-3 things, so I am a front-end developer, right? No, I'm sorry, you are not, because the real game is going to be started. I have said I have something for everyone. So here I am gonna start something for the midway guys who have just started, who have just completed HTML, CSS and JavaScript and everything. But before that, I want to see your doubts. If any doubts are there, Swapnendu Shagni, is there any doubt?
No, there's no doubt from the audience, but I'll be appreciating if you ask your doubts to Soumyaraj, because he'll be very much happy to clear those. Okay. so you can interact, because it's doesn't look good that he's only talking and you guys are only listening. It should be interactive because you're not attending some teacher's class. Okay,
Ye-
so ask him. He's your senior only. Okay, Soumyaraj দাকে জিজ্ঞেস কর সবাই. Okay, so yeah.
yes guys, you can spam in the chat box, যা ইচ্ছা জিজ্ঞেস কর, মানে আমি অবশ্যই মাঝে মাঝে দেখছিস না, সো আমি অবভিয়াসলি বসে আছি। সো যদি কোনো ডাউট থাকে অবভিয়াসলি আস্ক দ্যাট ইন দ্য চ্যাট বক্স। So after that, if I start talking about modern era of JavaScript, so godfather of web development, I'm just giving some animal vibes. That godfather of web development, what is this? That is Node.js. You have uh, heard about this, I think many of you. So what is Node.js? Node.js is the latest version of JavaScript which is especially developed for web development. So Node.js has very much features that web app development is supported, large community, many users use it, simple to learn, improved app, response time is less, it has caching. Caching, what does it mean? It stores the data once after any site or app is reloaded. And extensibility, it means it can be embedded in any language like Python, Ruby. You can use this language in everywhere. It is a it gives cross platform development like in Linux, Windows or Android, everything. It gives you high performance apps. It has a single programming language, and that is on JavaScript. You can see that what we have seen the previous JavaScript slide, that was totally on Node.js, because in today's era we only use Node.js. That is the main thing. So there is an installation link and there is also document link, and if you want to know that why Node.js evolved for web development, you can go to this link. Obviously you can study this article, you would be knowing more. So let's get okay. Node.js for frontend. Node.js is also used for backend, so Node.js is a full stack language. So Node.js for frontend is used for data fetching, data rendering and data transmitting, sending something data, getting something data, and also displaying something data on the front end or client side. That is what Node.js is used. So after that, there is a meme that designers, not it would be developers, that developers see the design, front end development is syncing and the back end. भाई कल तो मजा आएगा कि बैकएंड में तो कुछ दिखता ही नहीं, लेकिन बैकएंड में ही असली काम होता है. सो ऑलवेज रिस्पेक्ट बोथ ऑफ द डोमेन्स, बट आई वुड से यू शुड गो फॉर front end first and then make logics on backend. So after that, package bazaar of JavaScript. If you are coming from Python background, you would be knowing that pip install this package, pip install pandas, pip install this package. So that's how it works, right? So for Java, for Python there is pip. So for JavaScript there is npm and yarn. For JavaScript there is two things. You can see for installing any package you have to just write in the terminal npm install this, and npm for uninstalling npm uninstall this, and yarn add this, yarn remove this. You can use either of them, and also for that you have to install the Node.js in your computer as you install Python in your computer to use those pip install commands. So especially for JavaScript you have to install the Node.js for your computer, and then you can assume that the JavaScript is installed in your computer. So that's it. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this. At first let me see, is there any doubt? No doubts, right? Okay, I can continue. Okay, I'm gonna talk about CommonJS and ES modules, ECMAScript modules. If you wanna see the differences between them, you can go to this article, you can see the differences. That CommonJS is common JavaScript, which was being used since the old era, and it is also evolved in the Node.js also, but we use nowadays ES6 module. So what is this ECMAScript? It is a new standard of coding techniques. I have mentioned some of them, that if you use CommonJS you are importing files like this, const express by using the require function, and after that you can export those things, and in ES modules you can see that you can import like an English language, and you can also express them also. So that's the basic. After that, if I go for any kind of special frameworks or libraries for frontend, there are three. You can use either of them, any of them. So if you go, if you are interested for Angular, you can see the documentation. I have also embedded the link for view. But for this session, we are gonna choose the easiest one and the most popular one and the trending one, that is React.js. So React.js. Always remember, React.js is not a framework. This is a Node.js library for frontend. What is the features of this React.js? That is JSX. What does this mean? JSX. For Python files, you just give it a extension like .py. For JavaScript, you give it a extension for like .js. And for React, you give it a .jsx. What is JSX? We will be coming for that. So then comes the component based rendering, then comes state management, conditional rendering, virtual DOM, package availability. What does this mean? I don't get it. So you can go for this tutorial. This is Hitesh Chaudhary's React series. You would be getting many knowledge, in-depth knowledge for this from learning, and you would get the React's documentation also from that link. So what is React state management? So first of all, I would like to talk about the component rendering, right? So if I talk about this website, right? So here is the navbar, okay? Navbar, you can see there is some buttons. This button and this button, they are the same, right? This just color are different. So if I code that button once, and if I use for both of 2 times for these positions, so that would be easy, right? So React offers you this thing, that you can design a specific component in a website and put that by styling in a single page. Like this is a component, you can see this slides is a component, each slide, and by using JavaScript logics, you can map them here. By using JavaScript component logic, you can map these components in everywhere. So all the it's like a body. You are dividing every pieces into a component and making every component differently, coding them differently, and assembling them unitedly at the end. That's how React works. So that is it. So if I talk about some state management, like while I am clicking on this dialog is opening, and while I am clicking on outside, the dialog is going. So this is kind of state management, right? If I am clicking this, there is something variable is declared that is going true, and this dialog box is opening. And if I click here, the variable is going false, and that is closing. So that's how the state management works, right? So if I open state management, what does it mean? In the UI, the state defines, and some actions also occurs. Like when I click on the button, that goes true, that is the action, and that is sent to some functions. That function gives something update to the root state, and that also changes the state, and we see in the UI. That's how the state management occurs. You can use inbuilt use state hook. You can study about hooks in the React documentation. You can see use reducer hook for that state management. You can also use Redux toolkit, which is the trending thing right now. You can also study the Redux toolkit documentation, like here. If you search, I have used it priorly. So you go here and search for it and everything. You would be getting everything. So that's how it works. And there is a conditional rendering. Like if I have something applied for a job, if I have clicked that button, that would show me that applied, and if I have not clicked, that would show me apply. So that's how. If the condition is true, show me write something. If the condition is false, show me congratulations, this type of. So that is totally a conditional rendering using the ternary operator. So after that, JSX. What is JSX? JSX is nothing. HTML embedded in a JavaScript function or JavaScript class is called JSX. The file is this. You are importing in ESM module You are defining a function, and you are defining a
Somaraj,
statement. Yeah.
Somaraj,
Well,
hello, hello.
yes, yes, yes.
Here Rishi wants to know about the hook once more. Can you please explain him about the hooks once more?
Hooks. Okay, okay. For the state management, Rishi and others, whoever has this doubt, you can go React hooks. You can search introducing hooks. Always prefer the official documentation. You can go that you can see how the React hooks work. If I show you, I have a code here that is, yeah. I think you can see my Microsoft page, right? So here you can see there is a button, right? If I click this become 1. If I click this becomes 2. So after we click, the state is changing. You can see in the DOM, the document object model in the browser, without even reloading, the React allows me to change the state of the application. That's what it offers. That does not offer in the JavaScript. So that's why we use React hooks. So there are many hooks for, like, if you want to change state, you can search like this. You got use state syntax, that this is a state variable, this is the changing function, this is the use state hook, and inside this you have to give it the initial value of the state variable. So that's how it. And you can also study from here. You can also use see the use hook. If you go for use effect, right, you can see. Okay, so you can go definitely, like, if you have many doubts, right? React hooks, just give it a search. You would get like this video, 15-18 videos, all hooks. Under 1.5 hours you would learn all hooks. There is many hooks. You can see use state, use reducer, use effect, all the hooks. Even I don't know all of them, but I know maximum of them. So you would be learning them by your need, but it is good to know, have the basic conception. So that's it. For the state management, you can use this, and for advanced state management, you can use Redux toolkit, where you can see quick start guide. If you are using any or building any React application, you can configure it, and also use app selector, use app dispatch. Many hooks are there. There are totally a market of hooks in React. You just have to see the documentation and search it for in the YouTube. I think Rishi, you are clear, right? Just give it the reply with okay, or if you have further queries, please spam in the chat box.
Okay, Shomaraj, there's another question from
Yeah.
Ayushman.
Yes.
That can we say that component in React.js are just like regular function that we can use it again and again?
Yes, yes, definitely. It's like, that's why we use the JSX under the function. Like, classes can also be used again and again, used in form of objects, and also functions can be called again and again. So we are embedding the JSX, means JavaScript plus HTML, inside a JavaScript function, so that we can use this again and again in everywhere. Suppose I want this navbar to be here once again. I just have to give the component name twice. That's it. That is so much easy. But in HTML, I have to write the code twice. Suppose the navbar code is 30 lines long, right? I have to write 60 lines code. But in React, I have to write this 30 lines code in a different file. I have to import that here, and I have to just write 2 lines to get the same product twice, and that is more stylish. That's React. So I think you got it. What is JSX? You can see that it is returning the common HTML, so that I have mentioned in earlier that it is quite easy to learn HTML. So HTML is used everywhere. So after that, life cycle of a component. If you want to render any component in React DOM or the virtual DOM used by React, it renders every component once, and it updates gradually on its need. So every component is initialized once, and after that it is cached in your browser history, and after that when you run this or refresh that, it gets mounted again, it gets updated if any update comes, and after that that is unmounted if any changes comes. So you can use effect. Like use effect does what? After every reload it mounts the component with a newer state. Like you have to reload that component every time by using use effect. Whatever I am calling this function every time, if I writing this function inside the use effect, it means that whenever I refresh that page, it is calling the fetch tricks function again and again. So that's what it's called. And what is the uses? Initializing any component on its first React DOM render, and after that it is getting updated and updated in every reload by if it is used in under the use effect tool. And there are data fetching or posting data. You can use these things, like whenever the page is reloaded, fetch the new data. If any update comes, the data will be added, or if any update goes, then the data will be deleted. That's how it works. After that, passing props. You can pass the data from one component to another component, which you could not do easily from one HTML document to another document. So that is it. So you can use the, like this is the dummy component, like it is the JSX. You can see, you can I have defined these functions here, right? This is the JSX, and I am using this, I am returning this, and I am sending name A, B, and I am getting this from props. Props mean properties. It is shortened in props, and that's how it is named props.name. You are using JSX. You are writing even JavaScript inside the HTML. That's how it is easy. And there are React routing. Routing means what? If I go LinkedIn, okay, LinkedIn, after that there is slash feed. If I go Soumyaraj Bag, you can see there is something addition. So that is routing. Uniformly different URLs for every page. So that's what is giving you React easily without even reloading your page. That is what it is. So after that, okay. So if I learn React, after that this situation is gonna be occurring with you. That I have faced this situation many times, that if you have a family friend or a college friend, भाई मुझे startup करना है, website लगेगा, कर देगा. Even I have also done the whole website, but the friend never started the startup. So that's what is going to be happen with you. So value your skills, and after that, let's go. So there are some styling libraries you can use. There is Bootstrap, because if styling becomes a odd part for your project, you have 2 or 3 days, then you can use these libraries that there are already given something. Like if I want to go to containers, or like if I want to go to any form, like okay, so this is the form. I have not to stylize it or make it responsive or code it from the scratch. I can just use it, copy it from here, Control C, go to my VS Code, okay, go to my VS Code like here, and paste it. So it is not going to be working because I have not installed the Bootstrap yet. So you have to install from these descriptions. You can see you have to just follow these instructions, and you will get lots of tutorials on it. So you can use the preloaded stylized components from Bootstrap, and that is my favorite, Tailwind CSS, because Tailwind gives you customization. This is the installation properties, and if you go in the docs, if you search like margin, if I show you margin in CSS, you have to make another file like .css, okay, and you have to go from HTML file to CSS file, work so much from here to there. I don't like these things, right? So you have to go to you can make margin M0, easily. MX, you want to give margin in horizontal MX, give margin in vertical MY. So that's how it works. That is how it is easy. You can spend more time. I have embedded these links. What is material UI? Material UI you can see in the documentation. For material UI you have to know the React, because that is must. You can see the components, there is button also. You just have to copy the code from here and import it in React. That is how it is. Chakra UI is nothing. Chakra UI is the same thing, just they are like lost brothers from a fear of childhood, right? So that's it. If I go further, what is client-side rendering? In client-side rendering, if I query any page in the server to the server, right? Server gets the JavaScript file, sends to the browser. Browser gets the JavaScript file. Browser executes that JavaScript file in React, and then the page becomes loaded. So if I show you one example that if I open this, okay, let me open this and okay, so let me give you one network tab issue. This is gonna show me everything. If I load this, you are seeing that the JavaScript files are coming, right? Every reload you are seeing that the JavaScript files are coming. So this is called the client-side rendering, right? So this takes very much time, and actually React in default does that thing. So what is server-side rendering? Server-side rendering, what it does, it gets the JavaScript, it gets the user request, and I'm sorry, I'm sorry, my throat actually broken out. So it gets the client request, and the server gets the JavaScript file, and that it converts into a HTML output file and sends it to the browser, and then browser shows the static HTML side, and if the user requires any kind of functionality when he is accessing the site, then the JavaScript files come on its need. So that is the speciality of server-side rendering. It reduces the time, it consumes less data, because the size of a HTML document is way too less than a JavaScript file. So that is it. When the website is fully interactive, then it downloads the JavaScript file. So this is the server-side rendering. In client-side rendering, the JavaScript files come in the client side. In server-side rendering, the HTML file comes and gets rendered, and on any need, the functionalities from the server comes as the JavaScript bundle. So that is it. Static SSR means what? Static server-side rendering means if I want to get any kind of movie in a simple dashboard homepage, right? And if what is dynamic? If I want to get every student's details by name, so that is how it works. You will be getting more details on the internet if you search these things. So if I go further, what is metadata? When you search in the internet, right, you would see lots of the lists in the Google, right? You see this title. This title is called meta title. This URL is called this is called URL, Uniform Resource Locator. With this special domain name, you get this thing. And this is the description, that is called meta description. You would ask me that why did you get these things? How would you change these things? You can change this from this meta tag in HTML, and you can change this from the Next.js itself, and you can also change this from the React server-side rendering. So what is search engine optimization? If you search any website in the Google, it ranks many websites, and you go from the top to the bottom. So it ranks on different varieties of aspects. That is your website on competitive analysis? Is your website keyword oriented? Is your website is lesser in size or lesser in execution time? There are many things. So SEO is search engine optimization, is the ranking of your website on a specific keyword searching in any search engine. So like Google or Bing ranks your website on the basis of the search engine optimization analysis. The more good code you will write, or the more optimized build you put your website in production, the more SEO you would get. So what is TypeScript? TypeScript you should definitely know, but I would say if you are learning JavaScript, first spend some time, at least 6 months with JavaScript, then go for TypeScript. Because TypeScript is, if I give you an example, let's start with invalid JavaScript syntax. You see that there is a variable var1. I am giving it a string. It is assigning it a string data type. And if I in the other line, if I give it a 10, it would take, definitely it would not give me an error, and it would print also 10. But in TypeScript, if I am declaring it, I have to give it a type in like variable name colon the type, the string. And if I in the second line, if I give it a 10, then it would throw me an error, because in TypeScript the number is not assignable to type string, so it is a type oriented. And if you let me say that C++ is the extended version of C, and similarly TypeScript is the extended version of JavaScript. It is a superset, like it has strongly typed generics interface. I have also embedded a YouTube link, that is Hitesh Chaudhary, that is by Hitesh Chaudhary, the best tutorial available on the internet, so you can definitely check it out, and there is the documentation also. So the last thing, the next generation thing, the next step which is going massively hyped on the internet, that is Next.js. That has lots of features like page-based routing. What we have to do in React by coding, we have not to do anything in Next.js. We just have to use app router. If I have a directory called app, under that if I have home, that would automatically create a /home route. So I have not have to code for routing. That is it. So if you have to go search next app router, you can definitely study about them from here. This is a very beautiful documentation, and if I go then go for server-side rendering. By default it gives you less data, it takes less data, less time, like it generates the HTML document by executing the JavaScript file in the server, and it sends to the client side, and the client side downloads the HTML and it renders it in the DOM. And there is serverlessly full stack. If you make any modern application in Next.js, you would not need any express server, you would not need any backend server, you would just need some controllers for API management, you would need some controller functions, and that would control the API management and database management, and you would need some database connection. There would not be needed any server. So that is called serverlessly full stack. You would have many server actions. Without any server actions, there is no client-side rendering. You would have dynamic metadata. For every page you can add it, metadata. In React you cannot do that by default without server-side rendering. So you can get more search engine optimization with more dynamic metadata in Next.js rather than React.js. So I prefer first learn React.js, and as Next.js is the framework of React. If you go in the Next.js documentation, you would see that this is a React framework for the web. So it is developed by Vercel, which is a deployment portal. So let me go. So that's all for today. I think you got so much details, and it has been a unique session for you rather than other typical front-end sessions. I have prepared many things for you, but due to lack of time I could not show those in details, but you should definitely check out those links. So if you have any doubt or extra queries, you can ask in the chat box.
Okay, so one thing, thank you Soumyaraj for this wonderful session. It was, I feel, I guess, really it was very good. And I have given the link in the chat box, the Google form link. Definitely fill it out, guys, because using that you will get the certificates from there. So fill that one.
Okay, so you can connect with me in LinkedIn by scanning this keyword, my GitHub and Instagram, and you can also join in the NoobCode community WhatsApp group if you are coming from LinkedIn for this session, and you can see my uh, portfolio website from here. You can know many things from here, and you can also send me message, and also you can also have my number and etc. So you can reach me out for any kind of collaboration or any kind of need or any doubt. I will definitely help you. So
Okay, so
that's all.
Vedant is asking that Shomuraj, how much
Yeah.
it will take to learn all this? How much time it will take?
Sorry. Okay. The total time is, if I say two cases, you do not know any programming language, then it would take nearby 4 to 5 months, because it would take nearby JavaScript to learn JavaScript for you 1 to 1.5 months, because it would be your first programming language, and total front-end development would be done in 5 months if you are a totally beginner to programming language. Yes. And if you are consistent, obviously, if you make some gaps, then it can be extended to 1 year. But if you do consistently, then it would take only 5 months if you are a complete beginner in this field. And if you are knowing things like Python or C priorly, or if you have some basic knowledges about HTML, so then you can earn these things. Except Next.js, you can earn the React, you can earn the technologies still React in 2 to 3 months. It is that easy, but that is consistently. Okay, so make sure you be consistent, and that is not a big deal. I have started these things from this year's January, and now I am here. Obviously, I did not do things consistently, but if you do consistently, you would be definitely doing it so fast. It is not a big deal.
Okay, Shomuraj, I guess that was a lot of insight for everyone. And okay, guys,
Yes.
definitely fill the form. I am opening it till 9. It's 9:27 now. I am keeping it open till 9:35. So you guys have time up to that much. So fill up the form. You'll get it. And you can connect with actually any of us and with Shomuraj as well.
Yeah, I'm
You
sending
can
the
connect with
PPT.
him. Yes. Yes, the PPT will be sent in the web dev group of NoobCode. So from there you can access that. If any of you have not joined the NoobCode community, definitely do join
Yeah, you can join by
and
scanning this. I am
get
opening this.
charged up for tomorrow's session. It will start from 5 and today's continuation will be done by Swapnendu from tomorrow. Today you learned how to design it. Tomorrow you will learn what is the engine. If I compare the website as a car, today you understood that how the exterior of the car is made. Tomorrow you will see what happening inside the engine. If JavaScript in the engine, then what's happening inside the engine, tomorrow you will understand. So it will be a nice session because why these sessions are being planned is the reason that if you get to know the understanding, you will probably search around over the internet the technologies that you heard of. You can search around from the PPT. You can just search in the Google. You will get to know along with the resources that we have already given in our Google Drive, NoobCode Google Drive. You can access from there. So if you can understand the link, it will be very much easier for you to access and to know that from where to go where. So actually these sessions are planned. So be ready for tomorrow's session as well as for the cybersecurity session the next day because that will be something interesting and different which you actually don't encounter often. And of this bootcamp, what you will go back with is that portfolio website, just like Shomuraj showed you, his own portfolio of website made in React. You will be making a basic portfolio website in HTML and CSS, which you will be customizing it hands-on. And that day, actually, we would require you to sit with laptops because and GitHub installed. If any of you have not till now done the Git installation, Git bash installation, definitely do it and claim your GitHub developer students pack, which we have given in our NoobCode Web Dev Carnival kit that we have given. There you can see the process of how to do it. So definitely do those things. And thank you everyone for joining the session today. You fill out the form by 9:35, then the forms will be closed. And it was really wonderful of you. Hope to see you tomorrow again. Thanks a lot from our side. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Soumyaraj, as well, for
Ye-
giving so much good insight.
Yes, yes. Thank you, everyone, and good night. See you tomorrow.
Yes, guys, good night. See you tomorrow. Definitely fill out the Google form. Thanks a lot.
Anyone is raising? Okay, okay. You guys can leave.